The Color Purple is a fascinating story following the journey of young Celie's life. She was abused by her father Alfonso and impregnated twice before being arranged to marry an older man, Albert, or Mr. Her life with Albert consists of forced sex and constant additions to the already large family by old history, all while oppression is still crushing African Americans. This was still a time of serious oppression to those who were colored. Through letters written to God, Celie provides readers with a journey through her life and the abuse she faced every single day, along with the connections she made and the love she found while becoming a successful Black businesswoman and a very strong feminist. While reading this book, I was quickly drawn to the sexist behaviors and male dominance by the men in Celie's life, especially considering all the controversy following our latest election involving women's rights. A Marxist feminist lens can easily be put to use while looking at The Color Purple by looking deeper into the oppression against women and how the women in this novel were exploited by the work the men had them do. Feminism means advocating for equality no matter the sex, while Marxism means the political and economic theories that form the theory and practice of communism. Both of these can very well be applied.
Right now, I am standing in front of the Boulder Safe House. Women from all over come here to seek safety and refuge from their abusers. Safe houses are in high demand all over the country because 1 in 4 women in the U.S. are victims of domestic violence.
In the early 1900s, it was a sign of respect for a wife to be beaten by her husband. This showed male dominance in the home. Domestic violence was just becoming an issue in the early 20th century and became a nationwide issue in the 1980s and 90s. Hence why in 1920, Celie never said anything when she was verbally and physically abused by Mr. One of the main female roles, Sophia, wasn't like that. She didn't let anybody lay a finger on her or Celie. Most African American women had it in their heads that they were worthless and that they deserved the abuse. Celie let it happen for so long because there was no other option. Mr. was far too intimidating and capable for her to stand up to him, and she had already been sold to him. It's incredibly sad that Celie led herself to believe that Mr.'s actions were okay.
Right now, I'm standing in front of the Kane Travel Group, one out of hundreds of women-owned businesses in Boulder. This being one of the more successful women-owned businesses in Boulder, they bring in about $67 million a year.
For years, Marxist feminists have been challenging the ideas of capitalism in ways that shed new, brighter lights on women's rights. By the end of The Color Purple, Celie was a successful businesswoman making pants. In Celie's case, the business she created was her way out. It's how she got away from the harassment and the abuse she faced at home. She channeled her already thriving skills and made something amazing out of it. Stories like Celie's, with her motivation and drive to start a business, have clearly been passed all the way to modern day, because now over 40% of nationwide businesses are women-owned. The women's marches that took place across the country following Donald Trump's election are just one of the many ways that women are still fighting and will continue to fight for their rights. This goes to show the vast improvement we've made in minority and women's rights, despite that it is still happening. The improvements we've made can only lead to greater change. Everything about The Color Purple, including the oppression against women and minority groups, work exploitation, and capital greed, still happen every day. Women standing up for their equal rights will continue to happen until there is no need for further change, just like how employees will continue fighting for reasonable pay and hours until it is fair. Change doesn't come on its own. Just like what Celie did, it takes advocacy and support. This novel provides really good evidence of past, and even some present, capital greed, materialistic living, oppression against rich versus poor, men versus women, and white versus black, and how oppression like this has affected our history and the nation we've become, and are still becoming. Thank you.